Him, Villeman, he hole-shotted, won his heat race, then LaRocco, Carmichael all the way to the inside, and the sign is sideways.
Those should be the four to watch as the gates are about ready to drop. Villeman's got good position, but going down right in front of him, he gets right over him. David Villeman did a jump job in the corner.
That's Sebastian Waugh.
Sebastian Waugh went down, but how Villeman got by him, I'll never know. That'll be interesting to see a replay. In second place is Larry Ward, giving the challenge to Villeman. LaRocco is in third. Then it's Dowd, Wyndham, Ricky Carmichael, Albertine, Huffman, and one more rider until you get to Jeremy McGrath. McGrath's poorest start on the season, David.
McGrath was just nowhere out of the gate. You see to your left, McGrath already got closed out. So did Carmichael. They just had to wait in the first corner.
McGrath is in 10th spot as we've got a battle for the lead. Take a look, another look at this.
Right there, Waugh had a great start, but he couldn't make the corner. They're turning up the face of that jump. Look at Jeremy. Doesn't get that reaction. Neither does Carmichael. They're following LaRocco into the corner. How's that?
Villeman with a lucky break that Waugh slid out away from him, and he got a clear shot and has become our leader, number 934.
Well, he led this quite a bit last year. I think he may lead it quite a bit more this time. It doesn't look like Larry Ward is staying close enough to keep the pressure on him. He may have to start dealing with the pressure from LaRocco in third. There you see the lead now that Villeman's starting to build.
Not only is McGrath in 10th position, but he's 11 seconds in back of the leader. 19 laps to go in our 20-lapper as Villeman comes around for his first complete lap.
This is interesting. Not interesting. It's a little bit, things are looking up, I think, for Kevin Wyndham. He's in contention here. He doesn't have to worry about McGrath maybe at all in this race unless Jeremy just gets some speed from I don't know where. But Kevin's been getting nervous all because of Jeremy McGrath. Now he doesn't have to deal with him. He knows he's faster than the three guys ahead of him.
Here's McGrath trying to beat Heath Voss in 10th. Heath paces it but still stays in front of Jeremy McGrath. Going down,
Larry Ward.
Is Larry Ward, and Ward is not moving in that corner.
That's too bad. Larry rode an excellent heat race. He's holding his right shoulder.
Wyndham has moved into second place.
Kind of looks like a collarbone. Look ahead. See the bike flip. LaRocco goes down as well.
Trying to avoid Larry Ward, and that gives Wyndham the break, moving into second.
That's unfortunate. That's the triple into that corner. Larry might have tried to go for that. I didn't notice. I was looking at McGrath, seeing how far he'd moved up. And
he's still behind Heath Voss, number 33. But here is our leader, number 934. David, he's such a smooth rider. If he just keeps his pace and keeps his composure, he might have his first win.
He's got about a 4 to 5 second lead now over Wyndham. He proved last week that he could stay with McGrath pretty close for 20 laps. Kevin Wyndham has yet to show strength for 20 laps. This could be the advantage Villeman needs.
McGrath, passing two riders now, is trying to move up. He's got 17 laps to try to make up for lost time.
That's enough time, but Villeman's got a heck of a lead now, Art. And with Wyndham pushing him, that should be a pretty fast pace out front.
Villeman's already got a 7-second lead on the leader, as McGrath now has his sights on Damon Huffman, number 20 of Team Suzuki.
Huffman getting a little sideways. These guys are thinking about the whoop section so much in the corner before, try to get a little momentum. As slippery as that corner is, these guys are making some mistakes there, which wrecks the whole straightaway.
Villeman, Wyndham, LaRocco, Albertine, Dowd, Huffman, and McGrath.
I don't think McGrath has really settled into a comfortable pace just yet. You see just a slightly off timing. He's not able to, in traffic, to use some of the lines that make him so fast.
It's still early in our 250 main. David Villeman, our leader, but Jeremy McGrath, the favorite, is battling back from 8th position. Here's our leader, number 934. Villeman's best in San Diego was a 4th last year. In 1989, he had a 2nd place finish in the 125 West race. And, of course, that season he ended runner-up in the 125s to John Dowd. Here's Jeremy McGrath. He's got a difficult assignment right here. We see Damon Huffman in front of him. Then it's John Dowd, Greg Albertine. These guys in front of him know the good lines, and they don't want to give in to this perennial champion. Brock Sellers is even following McGrath here, learning a lot about his lines. There's number 20, Damon Huffman. Damon Huffman going back to Team Suzuki after a few years with Kawasaki. No one has ever won their first 250 Supercross here at San Diego. Can Villeman do it? A record 61,000 fans here in San Diego are a little bit shocked right now. Their hero, Jeremy McGrath, the legend of the sport, is not in the lead.
I think he's a little bit frustrated, Art, and in the traffic that he's in, he's not able to, as I said it before, he's not able to take the lines that he's accustomed to taking, and he keeps on sliding out. That back end is getting away from him in a lot of the corners. It did right here the last lap. I just don't think he's found his pace. If he had, he'd be by Huffman by now.
Damon Huffman, number 20.
Not taking it away from Damon, but you look at McGrath, the way he's been this year, through all the practice sessions, all the heats and mains, the guy's just been flawless.
David Dameron, the owner of the Mazda Chaparral Yamaha team.
Yeah, I think that's a look of concern. I don't get a shot at his face that often to make any comparisons, but I think he's seeing what I'm seeing. Jeremy's he's making little mistakes here and there, and he's not making up the time he needs to make up at this point in the race to catch the leaders. And this whole time, number 18, right there behind him, Brock Sellers, just riding the 250 to get some experience before the 125 East. He has been glued to Jeremy this entire race.
And our leader is David Villeman. We kept saying earlier in the season, David, that if Villeman got a good start, you know, he's got a good chance for a victory this year. Well, he's making us look good right now with 12 laps to go.
Well, the gap there, he's jumping that triple into the corner. Kevin Windham's also doing it behind him. He just did it into the corner. He needs to stay close. Kevin has actually closed the gap about a second at last lap and a half. If he continues to close.
And look at Brock Sellers. He's coming up on Jeremy McGrath. He's number 18 on the Honda. Brock on an FMF. Jeremy on the Mazda Chaparral Yamaha. Jeremy just can't get around Team Suzuki's Damon Huffman. That is a big break for Villeman and Kevin Windham in second place to close up this points race a little bit.
I think Jeremy's frustrated right now, and he can't make that adjustment to figure out what he's got to do to hook up and you know, be able to choose the lines that are the fastest out there.
If you're a 125 rider, Damon, and let's check it out right now. Jeremy McGrath makes the move. Brock Sellers trying to make the same move now on Damon Huffman in the boots, and they both go off the track. Sellers making his way back, did not gain a position.
He actually lost one to Tortelli.
Here's Tortelli and Huffman.
The rule there, when you go off the racetrack, as long as you enter it without endangering anybody else and you don't gain a position, they'll let it slide. See if McGrath can do anything now that he's worked his way ahead of this pack. Pulled away pretty quick.
We're at the halfway mark. There are 10 laps remaining. Villeman is still our leader. Windham is still in second place. It's a lonely ride for both of them. And Jeremy McGrath is trying to make a move now on John Dowd. Dowd in fifth spot. Jeremy right now, David, is just trying to gather up as much points as possible. Not just to contend, because only 10 laps remain.
Yeah, it's still a lot can happen in 10 laps. When we've seen guys crash and the whole complexion of the race changes, but it doesn't look like Jeremy's thinking about winning this one. It looks like he's thinking about limiting the damage and trying to leave here with his points lead still.
If Villeman leads it, it'll be the first time in Supercross history that Yamaha has started off with 3 wins on the season. 2 of those, of course, number 1 in the first 2 rounds of action. Dowd stumbles in the whoops, but Jeremy can't take advantage, and we go back to our leader.
You guys got to be thinking this about David Villeman. He spent an entire year thinking about the fact that he should have won this race last year, but he just plain got tired. He's had 365 days to work on it. He's got 8 laps to go. Let's see how much he's been thinking about it.
Well, David, that running the 250 GPs last year just to get some bike time on it, even though he had a lot more time left on the 125s, both in Europe and in the United States, certainly has paid off for him, I believe. Dowd, number 16.
Surprises me, Art. This is the second lap that Jeremy is following Dowd around the racetrack. He actually lost a little bit of time. And that goes to show you, of course, Dowd's riding well, but this isn't the Jeremy we've seen the first 2 weeks. The last lap through here, Dowd made a mistake. His feet went off the pegs. And just like looking into oncoming lights at night, they say don't do it. Look at the right side of the road because you'll be drawn to those lights. You're drawn into the same mistakes and pace of the guys in front of you when you get buried in the pack.
But Jeremy has staged a wonderful comeback from double digits, and now he's trying to take over the 5th spot against John Dowd. Greg Albertine is in 4th.
Dowd's had a couple attempts the first 2 rounds. Jeremy, a big mistake there.
And here is the second place rider, number 14, Kevin Windham. Mike LaRocco is behind Windham. And LaRocco's picking up a little bit on Windham. Windham had a lonely ride there for a while.
This could all change. The last 5 laps of a race, Albertine has gone down, which will move Jeremy up another spot, but LaRocco is fastest at the end of the race. That's when he starts to really feel it. His concentration's there, his fitness is there. He's jumping that triple into the corner. Albertine just getting going before the finish. Now he could close the gap on Windham, which could put the pressure perhaps on Villeman. Villeman hasn't been able to pull away that much.
David Villeman in first. It's like a ride in the park. I'm upset in the making. Many were hoping for someone to step up after Jeremy dominated the first 2 rounds of this series. Well, they're getting their wish for a tighter points race as Villeman has turned the screws up here in San Diego. Here's number 1, Jeremy McGrath, just fighting to get back as many points to save that points lead. He's passed Huffman after having a lot of difficulty, and now is trying to catch John Dowd for Boyd. Dowdy up. Number 934, David Villeman, known as David Villeman in France, has dreamed of this moment for years. American Supercross has been his total goal in motocross and Supercross.
You see him look over to his right, scope out Kevin Windham approaching the corner. He knows exactly what the gap is, and it looks like he's just trying to make sure he rides a comfortable enough pace that that gap doesn't get too close.
5 laps to go for Villeman. Can he win his very first U.S. Supercross? Kevin Windham, number 14, is not out of the hot water yet. He's in second place, but right behind him now, making a move toward 14, is number 5. He's second in the points race, Mike LaRocco.
And Mike is really getting close.
McGrath made the move on John Dowd and passed Dowdy as we watch LaRocco try to catch up with Villeman. Boy, any move that McGrath makes, the crowd is right there.
They're going crazy. Look at how deep the ruts are. They're halfway up the side of the bike. LaRocco looking over to his left.
LaRocco has closed the gap on Windham.
And you know what
to 2 seconds.
I find interesting is he has about that look from LaRocco over to his left. He's not looking at Windham. He's looking at Villeman. I don't think he cares about getting second. I think he's still wanting to win this race, Art.
LaRocco is looking for his first Supercross victory since 1995 at Pontiac. Looking back at Jeremy McGrath. Here's the pass on down.
Dowd looked over, saw that one coming. He went wide there the lap before as well. Not a real exciting pass, but still he makes the move. So good at limiting the damage. Last year in Seattle, he went down the first turn pileup. He came back up to 4th. He's doing it again.
It wasn't the prettiest of passes, but it did the job.
I think Dowd has to be feeling pretty good about himself right now. He's held off the greatest rider ever for about 4 laps.
Mike LaRocco has just passed number 14, Kevin Windham. Mike LaRocco in second place.
I talked with his mechanic and team owner this afternoon, and they're confident. They know that Mike just needs to have a decent start and not have to deal with Jeremy right off the bat so he can get relaxed and into his rhythm. He should be able to win.
Mike LaRocco is 6 seconds behind the leader with 3 laps to go, less than 3 laps. Here's the move by LaRocco on Windham.
That was a mistake by Windham in the beginning of that whoop section that ruined his timing the rest of the way, and LaRocco just had a big head of steam. Remember last week he made all his passes in the whoop section. Phil looking over for the leader, Villeman.
Such a consistent ride. He came into the race finding himself only 8 points behind McGrath after 2 strong podium performances. This will be number 3. Out front is David Villeman. Villeman has 2 laps to see the checkers and the greatest race of his career.
He's got a comfortable enough gap with 2 laps to go. I bet you his heart is somewhere around 185, 190, don't you think?
Yeah.
He's got to be nervous.
He's been able to hold a 6-second lead throughout these last few laps.
It's his race to lose, and even though he's got a pretty big gap, when you're Villeman looking back there, that gap looks way too close. I don't know if he's paying attention to his mechanic's pit board, but he sure is looking around off all those jumps to see where Mike is.
It's the final lap for David Villeman. Villeman has had some great races here in San Diego, but he has never won, even on the 125s. In fact, back in '98, Villeman had a key race with John Dowd in the 125 West title chase, and he came in second to Dowdy. Well, this would wipe the slate clean and start a new one for David Villeman.
And last year, LaRocco passed Villeman on the last lap. He's got to be thinking about that as well.
Villeman through the ruts. Villeman looks at the checkers. They're waving for him. David Villeman, his first victory in America's Supercross. Check it out, because we're going to see some heel clickers here tonight. Here's the battle for 5th. Sebastian Tortelli and John Dowd.
The whoop section, that's the only thing left.
Tortelli to the inside, tries for the block pass. John Dowd just barely edges him.
Very smart. John, as soon as he got through those whoops out of that rut, he aimed to his right, try to cut off the passing opportunity of Tortelli, and it's a good thing.
So the celebration begins for the Frenchman. The guy who loves his neighbors in California, likes the lifestyle here, and has done a very difficult job of adjusting to living in a foreign land. And then comes up a winner tonight.
I'll tell you, I had my doubts yesterday. I was pretty impressed with his ride last week, staying that close to Jeremy, but after the first practice session, he was on the way perhaps to the hospital for x-rays.
Doesn't look like anything's broken there, as he does the heel clicker in victory. We'll be right back to talk to the very anxious Frenchman right after these important words.